Hi everyone. My name is Kelly Chambers. I'm a contributor here on the Lila team, and we are so excited to have all of you participating in our first ever Pluto Hour. We wanted to find a way to say thank you to all of our VIPs, our annual subscribers. So thank you. We know if you love the app that you love Steven Forrest. He is the voice of the app. He is an author, a counseling astrologer with over 50 years of experience. He is our wizard here at Lila, and we are so grateful to have him here. And also, we thought, how can we give you more of what you love with a man who has a wait list that is so long that it's closed. So we're so happy to, give you to be a fly on the wall. Thank you so much for your questions. They were all very thoughtful, and if we had it our way, we would answer all of them. But then we would be here for Pluto 24 hours. So this is Pluto Hour. We have done our best. Steven has done his best to pick a few questions that we feel will really speak to the group. So we hope you'll find value in all of the answers here. I know you will. And if you want to engage in the chat, we would love that. Our fellow team members, Janet and Linnea, are there. So if you want to engage with yourselves, you want to ask questions, feel free to do so. Forgive us if we have any kind of technical difficulty. This is our first one, so bear with us, but we hope it's smooth. Last thing, if you want to take a picture of the chart, we're not going to display it the whole time. It's going to intermittently come up on the screen. So if you want to snap it with your phone or take a screenshot so you kind of have it there as reference, feel free. We're kind of going to go back and forth, but it's mostly going to be on Steven Forrest. This is Pluto Hour. This is all about connection and vulnerability. So we really want to kind of connect with all of you. So without further ado, welcome to the first ever Pluto Hour. I'm going to pass this over to Steven, who has a few words, and then we'll begin.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kelly. And thank all of you for being here and for giving me the life I've been living. I couldn't do it without you, and I feel a lot of gratitude for that. I know some of you are technical astrologers, and some of you are like fans and beginners, and everybody is of course totally welcome to deal with the disparity of astrological knowledge. Kelly will flash the chart of the person and read their question. You may want to take a screenshot of the chart, for your own reference if you're a more technical person. Periodically, when I'm talking, we'll have maybe 10 or 15 minutes for each of these questions. Periodically, Kelly will flash the chart again just as a refresher or a reminder.
The question is, my 14-year-old feels invisible, depressed, friendless, and wants to quit life. How can she create a life where she is thriving? Topics: suicidal urge, epidemic of mass violence, possible autism spectrum, possible failure to launch, gifted creative artist.
Mm-hmm. Yes, a heavy, intense situation, obviously. I want to start out by observing that, we got this question and we got the birth information, not of the daughter, but of Ms. Fortune herself. And I'm taking that as a sign from the gods, essentially, a manifestation of synchronicity that the kind of dharmic approach to wrestling with this situation lies in me counseling the mother rather than the daughter. I really have little choice, since it's simply the mother's birth information I have. And looking at her chart, I think it's quite appropriate to do that. So here's what I mean. Again, here I want to enter this first in a kind of simple astrological way, fairly standard birth chart analysis. And then once we have a little bit of that, I want to dive into the karmic analysis, because that's really the key here, as we will see. So here we have an Aries sun in the 9th house, with a Scorpio moon in the 4th house, pretty close to Pluto, the ruler of Scorpio, tightly conjunct Jupiter. We have Leo rising. So this basic primal triad of sun, moon, and ascendant is intense and powerful. Here we have in Aries, the warrior. It doesn't mean she's angry all the time, but there is a power, there is a drive, there is a directness in misfortune. There's Aries energy. She is the warrior with the soul, and there's the Scorpio moon with the soul of the shaman, with the soul of the private detective, with the soul of the psychoanalyst. So this is an intense combination. And wearing the mask, there's the ascendant wearing the mask of the queen or the king, lion, king of the beasts. I say queen simply in honor of her gender. So the warrior with the mask of the queen, we feel that power and that intense moon. Now the moon loves the fourth house. The moon is the ruler of the fourth house. Everybody's got a moon, but misfortune has a particularly powerful one, just like Penny in the previous reading that we looked at had a powerful moon here for a different reason. Moon is the great mother. Moon is a nurturing energy. Link it to Aries, link it to the warrior. And here's the metaphor that pulls these together, sort of a fun metaphor. Let's imagine we've gone for a walk in the deep forest and we have a friend with us who's never been in a forest before, and you and I walking ahead, having a philosophical conversation, and our friend dawdles back, wants to take a picture, encourages us to walk ahead. So we get 75 yards ahead and we hear our friend calling us. And it's like, Steve, and the other name, come, there's a bear cub. Oh, it's cute. Oh, there's two of them. Bring your cameras. And it's like, oh my God, that's the last thing you want to hear in the forest. Because, of course, if there's bear cubs, Mama bear is going to be close and she is dangerous. She's going to shoot for questions later, so to speak. Aries energy, warrior energy, linked to the nurturing moon energy, is protective. It's mama bear energy, and misfortune has a powerful dose of that protective energy. She is wired for stress, so to speak. There's Aries energy right there. She's kind of a magnet for it. This situation that she describes, this terrifying, painful situation with her child, is an illustration of stress being drawn into her life, and one that goes directly to this issue of mama bear with the protective instincts. So essentially, we set up a kind of psychodynamic understanding here, and anybody in her situation, we'd naturally feel compassion for them. The astrological understanding seems to amplify the compassion. This is like a perfect storm for misfortune. Now, here's where we go deeper. The south node of the moon in her chart lies in the sixth house, lies in this house of service. We seem to have a pattern of looking at sixth house energy in this particular program. And it's in the sign Capricorn. Now, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which will become important here. A statement I make about Saturn that also applies to Capricorn. This is the energy that gives us the ability to do what we don't really feel like doing. And which of course makes it sound bad. That's why in the old astrology, it was one of the planets, Saturn, that was called a malefic. It was often called the greater malefic. Again, it's not fair. The ability to do what we don't feel like doing. When was the last time you were ever in the mood to resist a temptation? Nobody in history has ever been in the mood to resist a temptation, but God help us if we can't do it. When was the last time you were in the mood to clean the house or go to the dentist? And so this ability to do what we need to do is inherent to Capricorn and Saturn. But here we have the karmic association with that south node, and the idea that the weight of duty And the weight of responsibility is so strongly in the signature here of the unresolved karma, the feeling of being in a supportive role, a role of service that we have to do. Capricorn is the winter sign, and the notion of like winter in Minneapolis or something, it's like if winter is coming, we steel ourselves to get through it. And this is Capricorn energy. I keep mentioning Saturn. Saturn is in Libra exactly, almost exactly square to this south node, suggesting an affliction in the prior life of duty and responsibility in the rather chaotic, endlessly busy third house. Really significantly, we have the Moon Mercury conjunction in Aries, making another square to that south node and opposed to the Saturn. All of these things are in the categories of afflictions to misfortune in a prior life. Now, she is responsible to somebody. There's a relationship implication in the idea of being in a role of service or support, or who are we supporting? And to understand who we are supporting, we look to planets in aspect to that south node. They represent the other people as well as the circumstances. The people and the circumstances are interchangeable. People are circumstances. And so here we have this Aries energy, Sun Aries energy. Now, here I want to be very clear. I'm going to be very negative about that energy. It serves a divine purpose. There are high possibilities in it, true of any symbol in astrology. They all are pathways to a higher state of consciousness. But with the south node of the moon, we are looking at unresolved karma. So we know something did not go well. And in this situation, we're kind of open to thinking negatively about this Aries and solar kind of energy. Now, here's a dark statement about the sun. It's actually an objective statement about the sun. It's an astronomical statement. Everything revolves around it, literally. But then we recognize that there are people in this world who think everything revolves around them. In this case, the Aries energy, this anger in the person, this perverted expression of the warrior energy. Ninth house with its philosophy, the sense of self-righteousness that is a dark side of the ninth house. And so we are looking at misfortune in a prior lifetime, in a situation of duty, I'm tempted to say slavery, relative to a person who is angry, self-righteous, self-centered, and endlessly demanding. I don't know what the circumstance was, but we could tell a story of slavery literally. We could tell a story of family kind of relations, abusive marriage to somebody tyrannical. I'm not sure what the true story is, but I see that basic fingerprint. Now, where this goes is first we recognize some echoing of this unresolved karma in the present circumstances, where there's the enormous sense of responsibility relative to someone whose demands are endless and impossible. We can say this with compassion towards the daughter. I don't mean to beat her up. I don't know what her situation is, but the demands are endless, inescapable, triggering this karma of responsibility. Now, how to work with this? The north node of the moon, always the hardest thing in the world, but always absolutely central to fulfilling the evolutionary purpose of our lives. That is the nature of the North Node. And here it lies in Cancer. Again, familiar sign, we talked about it with Penny. The sign ruled by the moon itself. I would say task number one for misfortune in this lifetime lies in learning self-care. For 1,000 years, metaphorically, she has been pulling the plow through the mud, facing the impossible task of meeting the needs of others. And she has gotten inured to that. She's gotten accustomed to it. And this is the nature of the South Node. It's a habitual attitude. But here, the development of the ability to care for herself. This is pure Cancer. The North Node lies in the 12th house. This is a mystical, spiritual house. And so the care of her own soul becomes fundamental here. In order to accomplish that, here we have a delicate idea to make, or to point to make, with some subtleties in it. It is not that misfortune needs to turn her back utterly on her responsibilities. I'm not going to say that. That would not be right. But she needs to temper her kind of monofocus on duties and responsibilities. She needs, in classic 12th house fashion, uh, my language here may not work for everybody, but you can probably translate it. In classic spiritual fashion, she needs to turn some of these responsibilities over to God, over to the universe. Again, use your own language, but that's 12th house. That's part of her spiritual self-care, is realizing, and it's a difficult realization, this is the liberating light bulb lighting over her head, that there are situations that I cannot fix. There are situations where I have to proceed in faith in order to go forward with any kind of efficacy and helpfulness towards others. There is a basic need for me to take care of myself too, just so I can sustain the work. So faith and gentleness with herself, with her attitude towards herself. Now, I would quickly say that this faith and gentleness with herself, as she develops it, will change the energy that is radiating from her and will actually begin to create a more healing energy that may, I don't want to be ridiculously confident here, but which may positively impact the daughter, this softer, more relaxed, more faithful feeling that, we can trust the universe here, we can trust God here, will have a radiating and I think sort of contagious effect. Now, once again, I'm not sure how deep the hole is that the daughter is in. That would be, a question of her own karma. But here's the reason that this is happening for misfortune. I feel awful saying, oh, this is how great for your soul's development this miserable situation is. I don't want to be that inhuman about it. But through knowledge of the chart, I can see that, well, for everybody with the South Node, it's like we're saying to the universe, I have this karmic attachment. I think I'm ready to be done with it. Set it up again. Set it up again. I want another look at it. I want to go about it differently. So once again, that difference lies in tempering that infinite black hole of duty and responsibility, tempering that with self-care, faith, and a focus on her own inner life. This is certainly good for her, and I suspect it will be good for the daughter as well. So there we go. That's an intense one. So again, I hope that's helpful, and I hope this reading these 4 charts so quickly hasn't left your head spinning, but I try to pack a lot of information into just a few minutes. So thank you. And Kelly, back to you.
All right, well, that was so satisfying listening to you. Thank you, Steven, for all your generosity, and I think everyone really enjoyed it, and thank you everyone for being here. We hope this is the first of many Pluto Hours, and yeah, so on behalf of Lila and the team, thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you very, very soon. Thank you.